Hey everybody, welcome back to RNBHomestead. Today we're going to be planting some sage. Yes, you know that sage, you know that when you go into the grocery store and a little bitty thing of sage like this costs you, I don't know, $8. So if you're like me and you're making dressing or something like that, homemade, you're paying a lot of money for sage every year. So I said, why not grow my own sage? Then I know what I'm actually getting. So I want to thank you guys for joining me in this journey from container gardening to my homestead. I want to make sure that you guys go ahead and give me those thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you're notified every time that I do a video. And without further ado, let's get into this video. So welcome back. Today we're going to be doing sage. Sage is one of those things that basically you let it grow. You can use it to cook if you're going to use it once it's fresh, or like me, I'm going to cut it and dehydrate it and have sage so that when I'm making homemade dressing, I don't have to go to the store and pay them $8 for a little bitty container like this. I have my own sage. Thank you very much. So basically, we're going to go ahead and grow some sage. It does take about 2 to 3 weeks for it to germinate. Once it germinates, it takes about 75 days to maturity. But I can tell you, once you're growing this, once it gets about 6 to 8 inches tall, you can cut it and then let it grow again. You can harvest multiple times on sage. So I'm basically going to put sage in here. I probably put maybe 4 or so sage in each of these pods. And then I'm going to get one of my containers and actually put 3 of these in each of my little pots so I can get a big container of sage. And like I said before, you can cut that sage up to 2 times at least a year. Every time it gets 6 to 8 inches tall, cut it. Then you can go ahead and dry it in your you can dry it out and make you some sage for you to have. Also makes great gifts. There's a lot of people who are cooking now. They want to make sure their food is natural. Go ahead and give this as gifts, from your sage and basil, from your peppers to your mints. You can always dehydrate it and make some spice. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you around here so you can see what I'm doing. So now I done brought you around so you can see what I'm doing. I have my container, and just like with all my plants, I start them in seed starting mix before I transplant them into their regular soil that they'll be using. But for them to germinate, you just need this seed starting mix. And you can get this from any of your big box stores. Make sure I spread this around, push it down. So like I said before, these take about 75 days. So if you're planting them in July, if you watched my last video, what I'm planting in July. So you're looking at July and August, and then probably like September 15th or so, maybe actually the end of September, you should have you some sage that you can cut, let it grow 8 more inches, and then cut it again. So with the sage, I want a lot of sage, so I'm going to go ahead and plant all these seeds. I told you 4 or so, but I want to get a lot of sage because I use a lot of sage in cooking. So these are what the sage seeds look like. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle, 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 sprinkle. Okay. Go ahead and cover the seeds. Make sure to go ahead and make your tag with your sage on there and put the date on the back on which you're harvested. You're going to plant these rather, so you know when you can harvest. And there you go. So there you have it. We've gone ahead and planted us some sage. And like I said before, you're looking at 2 to 3 weeks before this will germinate. But then you can get about 2 to 3 cuttings off of this sage for the year. So you'll let it grow. I'll let it go for, I'll let it germinate. Then I'll let it sit in here for about 4 weeks. And then I'll put it in its permanent place. And then once it reaches about 8 inches high, I'll go ahead and cut off some sage and dehydrate that sage and put it away for seasoning. Then I'll let it grow again and I'll cut it again. I'll go ahead and put these in the back here and water it from below. I want to thank you guys for joining me and watching my videos. Make sure you share your videos. If you have something you would like me to cover or want to see me plant, by all means, drop that information below. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you're notified every time I do a video. But until next time, see you later.